So this is the main portal for everybody that's that is usually. Oh, look at that! People who come through. There's an example. So this is right now the tunnel. Eventually this will be a little prettier, but for now, if you're just trying to find it, you can head down here. So head down there into the portal. Come through the portal here. And also there's a Boop. Boop is here. Welcome, Boop. So then you come out here into this portal. Sometimes, I don't really know exactly why, but sometimes you're facing one way, sometimes you're facing the other way. For now, there's nothing here. There's going to be some stuff up here eventually, but for now there's a sign. And then you just pop down. And you take... Don't have 1 heart of life when you come through, because you actually do take a little bit of fall damage. So just be aware of that. But I didn't want to move this lower down, and I wanted to have the water drop, so just don't have 1 heart when you jump down. So we have, this is kind of a spider base. This is built on top of the spider base. Or the spider spawners you saw in a previous stream. And then they'll come over here. Right now it's in, I'll move it to XP mode for now. But this is the BJW design, based on it, that I showed you before, or that I mentioned before. There's a maintenance room, and then this also switches them on or off. So when the light's on, spiders will spawn. And then while they're actually spawning in, I'll run you back here to show you a little bit of the mechanisms. So this here triggers the lava bucket, and then if you come over here, this here triggers the water bucket. And then we also have a timer here, so that when you hit the button, it'll trigger. First, it'll open up this to let the spiders come up. It'll trigger the lava bucket briefly. It'll wait a little while, and then it will trigger the water bucket. Is how that all works. And then there's other stuff, I'll mention that in a second. But so that whole mechanism I'll demonstrate for you. Come up here. So I'll let a couple more spawn for a second. We are let a bunch of them spawn, and then right now I'm in regular XP mode. So this is the danger zone, because the spiders will actually be able to attack you while they're in there. So you don't want to go within this area here, and this little block that looks weird is something to put your forehead against. So that way, when you open it, so when you hit this button, spiders will come up, the lava triggers, that timer runs in the background, and then this over here, the water bucket will then put them out at the proper time. And then so you just face them here with your sword. This one's actually a looting sword. So I hit them once, and they all die. I get a bunch of XP. Some of the XP stays down there, so as long as there's no spiders, you can pop out here. And actually, I'll repair my this pick. I think it has mending on it. And so then the items stay there, and as long as within the next, hopefully the spiders are too loud in the recording, or in the stream. But anyway, when the items will stay there, but then if you hit that within at least the next 4 minutes or 5 minutes, the items fall down into a hopper, and then they run through a line, and they come out of this chest here. So. And so then they're all here again, you can hit them again, and now they all die, you can get XP. If you don't care about XP, because eventually when I was trying to get a bunch of string, it got to a point where I had too much XP and I just wanted the items. So then what I did is I put in this device, so I can turn it to item mode. And so what that does is it will automatically just trigger this thing every however often, but then it will disable the water. So these guys, when they're hit by the lava, they will automatically die all the way through as long as they're not hit by the water. So if I could pop back here, I can show you what that is. That's an addition I added onto the design that BJW had. So what that does is that's this switch here. So it comes along, and then when this is powered and when that switch is on, it moves and breaks this line. So I'm just using a block to break this signal. And this is the signal that would usually say, trigger the water at this point. So I'm stopping that signal, and that's what that's what this timer is up here. And then I also have a little quick pulse that comes out from there. Actually, I'll pop it there because it's slightly more than just a pulse. So it's a quick pulse, but then I lengthened it, and then that goes to where the other button is. So when this thing actually switches over, it acts like you hit the button, and then we'll trigger the spiders to come up out of the pistons that are stopping them, and then also trigger the lava. But then over here, this piston here stops the signal to turn on the water. So they just burn up, and then it runs often enough that the drops will just fall down. You don't get spider eyes, but who really cares about spider eyes anyway? And then so they'll just keep on spawning and dying, spawning and dying. So that is that part of it. So that's for the XP, and then there's an enchanting area, anvil. Oh, it looks like somebody replaced the anvil because it was pretty close to breaking. So then the other thing that happened is, while I was building this, I was upstairs building a little farm, and it looked like Adley had found a zombie spawner close by. And so I moved, actually over that way. I moved some, cured a couple zombie villagers, moved them over, and so I've set up a trading system here too. So we have, different ones that I've selected. So this one there's also some ones in the back. I'll explain that in a second. So this one has Depth Strider, and this one's a farmer. So if you're trying to get emeralds and you come in, you could bring a bunch of different raw resources and get emeralds. Also, all the book ones, you could bring in sugarcane and get stuff. This guy's the rotten flesh, and then also he's right now he's locked, but or not all the way unlocked, I guess. But if you get rotten flesh, a bunch of that, you could bring that. This guy has efficiency 5. I'll probably replace him at some point. Here's our Mending Villager. It's pretty pricey. I'm waiting for another one to come through that's a little cheaper. And then the Fletcher, this guy he's great for getting emeralds, but when he locks up, he locks up. So I need to actually get some gravel to unlock him before he's unlocked. But then he requires string, which there happens to be a bunch of string. So when he's not locked, it's pretty cool. Okay, so let's look at the rest of the base. So over here I have an AFK fisher that isn't quite all rigged up. So if you're actually in here and your fishing output isn't really showing up in the chest, it's because I'm out of hoppers. So right now they're going into this chest, and then eventually they'll come up and they'll go into these two chests. So this is just your regular, I think might have been Panda's video that I was looking at for the tutorial for this. And then my personal storage and villager maintenance area. So I just have some storage for me because I don't have a base. And if I come up here, this direction goes to the zombie spawner, but I didn't want any chance of any zombies running through here because that would be bad. So if we come over here, this is the breeding area. So, apparently I have a big enough place where there's an iron golem. So it's important not to punch any, although he's actually stuck in the water, it seems like. So he might not be too bad. But whenever I kill him, I always use a lava bucket. So we're back here. So there's a farm here, and then there's at least one farmer. So he will, and actually, it looks like we have this guy. I think also if they don't have apron on, they'll also farm. So this guy actually takes wool, which you can get from string. So this is another good guy for trading until he locks up, and then I'll kill him. And when these guys are actually new, they're not unlocked all the way. Oh, feather falling. I need that actually. So let's do this real quick. I don't need paper on me. I'll come back to you. So they right in here they breed. I have doors with sky access, so there's enough here actually for a full village. Sometimes the babies will come over here and then drop through, but the adults can't unless I actually push them myself. So if I break them and then push, like the feather falling one, I'll probably keep. This guy, is this the feather falling one? What's the other guy have? So they'll have 3 books total. There's 2, or 1 in the beginning and then 2 at the end. So you have to unlock them as you go. And then these other guys are probably junk. And then, yeah. Okay, anyway. So they breed up, and then they move to the next spot. Sometimes as babies, or if I like them and I move them over there. So I'll head down here. So we have a butcher. Oh, another fisherman. Okay, so we want to keep him, so I don't want to kill him. And then, so this is where they come through. And this is actually another librarian guy. This is the other side of the guys that are selling stuff. Yeah. These are the guys that are selling stuff that are open market, open to the main area. I shouldn't point with my sword. That iron golem would be angry. And then, so there's stuff there, but then I also have, so if this farming villager gets locked up too much, then I actually have a backup farming villager back here that I'll move up. And then this guy, I actually have 2 farming villagers stocked up. And then this guy I kept for now because he had, aqua affinity, which I thought was kind of neat. So this guy, we don't need a butcher. We have lots of stuff. We want to keep the fisherman for sure. And then this guy, he's a butcher. I think we have 2 butchers, so we can try and back up the fisherman a little bit. Back up, and then we can just do real quick, and then wait, and then do it again, and then he's gonna die. So this sort of back area, I would say, is sort of off limits to regular people using it, because you could pretty easily accidentally, kill too many guys or let in zombies or something like that. So please don't come back here and try to maintain these villagers. Let the professional lava bucket guy do it. So yeah, we definitely want to keep this fisherman. He's a good backup. But that's that area back there. Let's head up here. And I can show you the workings of the actual spider area downstairs. So actually, to do that, the easiest way is I have a spectator guy on. So if I switch to this, now I'm in the spectator. So this is the spectator. So you can fly around. And so this is one of the spawners. So one thing that you have to that I've learned before, but especially now with building this, is that spiders have, I think, a 50% chance of being either a climber or a not climber. So the climbers are the biggest problems. And so you need to try to trick like all this sort of weirdness here where I have, can I get my cursor? Let's see. If I do F1, no, I still can't. Oh, because I'm in spectator, yeah. Okay. Anyway, so this is the first chamber that's here. So they spawn, and then they've all fall down here. They move through the water current into here, dump into here. And then I had to build this little lip here, back here, because they kept on, getting up the thing and climbing and all hanging out in here. And then they started climbing up in there. And then actually during, I think, the intro credit stuff, one of the guys came around this corner and then ended up climbing up here, and that's where this guy came from. So for the most part, none of them climb up, but some of them do every now and then. So eventually, if you were here for hours and hours and hours, there might be a few built up that you'd want to leave the area and then come back. And because the entrance portal is up above, when you come back to the portal, you'll be far enough away that all these guys despawn. So these guys all come through here, and because we're in spectator, we can kind of be cool like this. They come through here, and right now they're kind of bunching up, because half these guys are climbers, half of them are not climbers. So what happens is that they bunch up when the non-climbers are sort of the main priority thing there. They bunch up, and eventually one of the climbers is bunched up with a bunch of non-climbers, and then they end up sort of pushing the other ones up. There's a zombie there. Pushing the other ones up. And so they sort of bunch up for a little bit, and then they kind of come up in clumps. And then this is where the items drop down I was talking about, with the item elevator that goes all the way up. But so then, like, these guys are all going up. And so then they all sit below those 2 blocks. Yeah, so we can sit here and we can watch the pistons actually work. So in a little bit, that one timer, the item mode timer, will trigger the main button. These guys will all move up and then burn, and then they'll die. And and then the string will also fall down as the other part. Yeah, I try. I think I'm most happy about this base than other bases I've made before. The cave spider thing is pretty fun. So they all died. They're not dying from looting at all, but they're dying from just AFK dying, and then the items all laying there, and then next time this thing triggers, it all drops down into this hopper, and then moves along, and then moves all the way up into this order, which isn't fully built yet.